Welcome to Impact Makers Radio, featuring industry thought leaders sharing problem-solving insights to help grow your business and live the life you love. And here's your host, Stewart Andrew Alexander.
Hi, and welcome to another Let's Talk Divorce conversation. And during this segment of the show, I'm really happy that we finally have a very busy lady. She is a family law attorney, and her name is Kara Nally, owner of the Nally Law Group, all the way from Chicago, Illinois. Now, Kara, who is considered to be a leader in the area of family law, will be talking to you today about the do's and don'ts of co-parenting. Now, that sounds like a really interesting topic. So if you are one of the many increasing numbers of people in the Chicago, Illinois area who are, facing divorce, considering divorce, going through, or maybe even have gone through divorce, and you feel that you can relate to today's topic, it might just be a good idea for you just to take a break, grab yourself a notepad and pen, and get ready to take some notes as you listen in to what Kara has to share with you today. So with that said, as I said before, she's a very busy lady. Let's not keep her waiting any longer. Welcome to the show, Kara.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
You are so welcome, my dear. So let's just jump feet first in then, Kara. Briefly, in your own words, describe the kinds of people who you serve and the various types of situations they find themselves in when they come to you for your help.
Absolutely. I serve a broad range of clients, married and unmarried, young and old. A lot of new divorces typically start in the fall, or there's also a spike typically in the January time frame. Mm-hmm. But a lot of people are active, busy parents, and I usually, this day and age, we're seeing families with, 2 or 3 kids, and they just want to see how to move forward, so to speak. And they want to make sure that they're a part of their kids' lives. Sometimes I get clients that come in that are already divorced, and they're not happy with the parenting time they're getting, or unhappy with the parenting arrangement that they have. So it's really a broad range of people that I serve.
Okay then, Kara, it goes without saying that anything you share with us today is not legal advice or legal assistance. It's purely for the purpose of sharing information. Can we both get an agreement on that then, Kara?
Absolutely.
Okay, so with that said, when you think about those people who you've just described, all those people who you love to help, what's the most common misconception while you're out there helping those people with their divorce cases?
One of the biggest that I see is a lot of people believe that co-parenting isn't possible if you're not getting along with your ex. Now, it's certainly harder, but I think a lot of people have this belief that you have to be best friends with your ex in order to successfully co-parent. That's simply not the case. As long as you can communicate in a civil manner, and you're both thinking about your children and making sure that the best interests of those children are the center of your discussions, anybody can be a successful co-parent, and the kids turn out all the better for it.
Right, so based on what you just shared with us then, Kara, and obviously keeping your client's confidentiality in mind, can you please share an example or a case study, so to speak, of how you've helped someone, or even how you would go about helping someone who came to you with those challenges, that misconception you just described, and what kind of transformational results you were able to or would be able to gain for them?
Sure. I actually just did a relocation trial, and the parties did not get along well at all. One party wanted to take the child to one state. The other party wanted to take the child to a different state. It ended up the child, the decision has been in, and the child is actually with my client now. But through the course of the litigation, the parties have learned how to communicate. There's a lot of bad blood between the two of them, but now that the child is where she is, they're speaking civilly. They still don't like each other, but they're speaking civilly to each other. And I think they understand now that their child is the most important thing. And, my role in that is making sure that these divorce litigations don't become X against X. That the focus really is on creating the best possible environment for these children.
As a reminder, ladies and gentlemen, my guest today is family law attorney Kara Nally, owner of the Nally Law Group in Chicago, Illinois. And today's topic is the do's and don'ts of co-parenting. Now then, Kara, with that picture in mind, and for those people who are listening in right now and they're wanting to know more, please share one common but unknown pitfall that they need to be aware of regardless of their situation.
It's a known, but for different reasons. I would say social media 100%. Parents often forget that children these days have social media, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all of those. My generation, we didn't have that till we were in college. I actually went to college, one of the first schools to have Facebook. So where it may just seem like you're blowing off steam or even making a subtle dig at the other parent, your kids can see that these days, and it does affect them.
So, Carrie, I'm kind of curious, without going into your background and your formal education, but we're going to speak about that very soon. Can you just tell me, how many years have you been practicing family law or matrimonial law?
I've been practicing since 2008.
Since 2008. So when you think back to all of the people who you have been able to help, what's most important to you personally about being able to help those clients to achieve their desired outcomes?
To me, the most important thing to me is to always leave a client in a situation that will create the least conflict going forward. When I walk into a custody case that goes into litigation, I don't want to see the client in the next couple of years. I'm hopeful that I'm putting in place a situation that's tenable for everybody until the child is grown. I always want to minimize the risk of post-decree litigation and essentially create the most stability that I potentially can.
So what do you personally get out of that, of being able to help those people to achieve their goals? What do you personally get from that?
I'm a child of divorce myself, and a lot of my best friends are as well. And it gives me a feeling of fulfillment and happiness to know that even if the family isn't together, they're in a situation where they know they're still a family.
Right.
And it's a peaceful situation.
Mm-hmm.
It just takes what could be a very tumultuous time in anybody's life, and I draw great satisfaction from making it as calm as possible. It's always going to be stressful, but if you've got someone that's trying to create solutions versus fights, it makes it much better and much easier for everyone involved.
Okay, Kara, thank you for sharing that insight. It's always great for the listeners just to learn a little bit more about your, more of the personal side of our guests. So while we're on the topic of speaking about you, let's just spend a brief moment talking about your background and your formal education and your experience as it relates to the topic of family law.
I grew up all over. My dad was in the Army. I went to high school in just a tiny little town out in Idaho. I went to college at Boston University over in Massachusetts. I got a bachelor's in political science. And at that point, I had decided to go to law school, and so I went straight through, and I graduated from Gonzaga University School of Law in 2008. And then I practiced in Illinois for a while. And then I moved to Utah for a few years and practiced with a good friend. And I came back to Illinois in 2015.
Okay, Kara, thank you for sharing that with us. So when you think about the people who you help, those who come to you and they need to know more about the do's and don'ts of co-parenting, what final thoughts would you like to share with them before we close out with our last question for today?
Sure. The biggest thing to remember when you're talking about a co-parenting situation is that it's always, always, always about the children. It should never be about beating your ex or being right or being better or what have you. It's always about creating the best possible environment for your children.
Excellent. So if there's somebody who's listening in right now, then, Kara, and they're wanting to know some more about today's topic, the do's and don'ts of co-parenting, or anything else that you could help them with, what would be the easiest way for them to connect with you?
On Facebook, the Nally Law Group. If you just search that on Facebook, I'm there. I have a website, which is nallylawgroup.weebly.com. I'm also on Twitter and LinkedIn, and I can also be emailed at nallyfamilylaw@gmail.com.
Okay, that's all we have time for today. Once more, that was family law attorney Kara Nally. Thank you so much for sharing so generously with us today, Kara. You certainly have demonstrated that you are a true educator and advocate for your client's success. So thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.
You are so welcome, my dear. And I'd also like to take a moment to say a big thank you to you. Yes, the listener. Thank you for joining us on this very insightful and informative conversation with one of the leading family law attorneys in the Chicago, Illinois area today. Again, her name is Kara Nally. Make sure you do check her out. Give her a call, visit her website, send her an email. I'm sure that whatever course of action you decide to take, you are going to be in a great place to get started. So that's it for today. Again, I am Stewart Andrew Alexander, and we'll be back shortly with some more leading family law professionals in this, our series of Let's Talk Divorce Conversations. So until then, take care, have a great day, and we'll talk real soon.
Thank you for tuning in to Impact Makers Radio. To listen to all past, present and future industry thought leaders and trendsetters, visit us at impactmakersradio.com.